So it's been almost a full year since we received the results of the Independent Michigan Education Finance Study, or also called the Education Adequacy Study. In this study, which was commissioned by us, the Michigan legislature, was to attempt to answer one single question. How much money does it cost to educate a child to reach proficiency every year? The study found that overall Michigan school funding system is inadequate when it comes to allocating resources across all of our school districts. It also shows that almost 90% of Michigan school districts are underfunded and below what the study recommended. So when it comes to providing additional resources to students with the highest need, Michigan is far off worse, which is why the governor even had additional resources in his executive budget for at-risk funding, which I believe is a step in the right direction. In fact, this past March, the governor even issued his own report from the 21st Century Education Commission that reinforces the findings from last year's Education Adequacy Study. The 21st Century Education Commission's report states that unless we resolve and take action quickly to transform our current funding system for education in Michigan, the prognosis of our state and its citizens' future prosperity is bleak. So now we have two reports with similar findings, and what have we done with this critical information? Simply nothing. The independent studies are a wake-up call that tells us unless Michigan invests in equitable funding for all of our children, we are hurting their future now and for future generations to come. It's up to us to take steps to build a fair funding structure for Michigan's public education and reevaluate how we fund our schools. Which is why my amendment would create a work group to examine the recommendations of the Michigan Education Finance Study and determine the best course of action to meet funding recommendations. This is at no cost to our taxpayers and no cost to our state budget. So fixing our broken funding system and stabilizing our schools will certainly take a coordinated and cohesive effort, and we owe it to Michigan students to take a first step, which is long overdue, and take a serious look at these recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. The question before the House is on the adoption of the amendment. The clerk will open the board. The amendment is not adopted.